Good evening. I wanted to just get on here and share a couple of thoughts. I, as I was just praying on and off quite a bit today, which I kind of do every day, but at one point, and it just keeps returning to me and returning to me, and so I knew I was supposed to share it. But I kept having this vision, and I was taken back to just different accounts through scripture where it talked about how there were like portals from heaven, and the aspect of an open heaven. But like if you and if you kind of like imagine portals and the way, like in some of the cultural context, it was almost like there was this beam or like this pillar extended from heaven. And so like we know like Bethel in the Bible was one of those portals, and there was like kind of like these key places where and it was where the priest would often go, and sacrifices and things like that were made for the atonement. So there were definitely these places of dwellings, hence why people would come to these places to gather than it just being done anywhere, because it was an access or a portal directly from heaven. So in understanding that, we can see the vertical connection from earth to heaven. And so as I was thinking about that, and just, the realization of how the veil has been torn, like now it's this open heaven. Like we all have a direct vertical access. It's not like we have to go to a certain town or a certain point to have vertical access to the Father. And like back in the different biblical accounts, where if they wanted to experience his presence and where the temples were, there were like these key spots. And Jesus made it access so that everyone can have a direct portal access to heaven on earth as it is in heaven. So it's this open heaven concept. But as I thought more about it, that's the vertical position. That's the vertical position of the cross. And just that access point. And part of what I also noticed was there's a horizontal connection. So the cross has an intersection, a vertical and a horizontal. If you get my point. But anyway, so the horizontal connection to the cross. So Jesus came from heaven, the vertical descent, went back to the Father, the vertical descent. But the horizontal connection that he demonstrated, which also came through the cross, was like, and in that symbolism was the importance of community and of the body and of one another, and how we all operate in part. And so we can't do life alone. We're not meant to do life alone. And we can be strengthened by community. And the church I've been going to has been on a series for a little while about community, and it's just been so good. But I just, as I thought about it from the aspect of the cross, because the cross says everything, it says the whole purpose of like all the redemption and everything that God came to do. And so he came to have direct access. He sent his son to give us direct access to the Father. But the Son also came to show us how to have access through one another. And so, if you think about like, yeah, that there's the intersection of that cross. Um, and just, and I just thought it was just so interesting because, like, I believe symbolism in the Bible is so important, and I think oftentimes, we can see it for how it is straightforward, but then God will give us these ways to just show us so much more. And so love isn't just a vertical thing. Love is also a horizontal thing, but the two must be connected in order for it to be complete, and in order for it to stand, and in order for it to have strength and have purpose, because you can't intersect, or you can't give love horizontally as well if you're missing the love vertically. So again, all through the cross, but just, just that simple reminder that, when we see a cross or the symbol of a cross, that it's not only vertical access to the Father, but it's horizontal access through one another that also comes from the Father, because iron sharpens iron and we all play a part. And so, while I might be a right hand, I might have a friend that is a right leg, or, you get the point. And another friend that's a left leg, another friend that's a left arm, or, whatever. But we all play a part, and we all need each other in order to function fully. So I don't know, I just thought it was just, a simple, especially around Easter, that the cross is such a simple reminder that it's no longer designated spots in order to have a vertical access, but we all have a vertical access, but we can only maintain that vertical access if we participate in the horizontal access through community and fellowship and strengthening with other believers. Some people call them brothers and sisters, but just those we fellowship with, those we do community with. So I hope this encouraged you and blessed you as much as it just blessed me to not always look upward, but don't forget to look side to side. So, all right, God bless.